in the printer.
Say again.
There was one in the printer, was that
Yes.
revised? Okay, we good? Okay, it's October 1st, 2018, 6:01. I call this meeting to order. Can I have a roll call, please?
Marshall Bishop here.
Michael Wilson here.
Steve McQuinney here. All right, first thing we want to do is accept on behalf of Homeland Security. Chief, do you have something to?
Sure, if the public hearing, we're going to just get over here. In 2017, we applied for a FEMA grant, an AFG grant, which is the Assistance to Firefighter Grant. We applied for a new breathing air compressor, and for all folks here, taxpayers are aware that y'all invested in new air packs for us a year ago. It was a 10-year project, and we replaced our air packs. Along with that, we needed a new system to be able to fill our packs. Our system that we currently have was antiquated, didn't meet NFPA regulations. So with the investment of our own packs, we applied for a federal grant to buy a breathing air compressor system that will support our breathing air going forward. So this grant was in the amount of, I think we applied for $55,000 for this unit. The grants are competitive, and we were fortunate to be able to be awarded that grant based on our need. I expressed our need to the folks that were judging the grants, and let them know that the town of Gilmanton supported this project by investing taxpayer dollars into air packs over the last 10 years. And we had done our due diligence for that, and then we were asking for assistance for this last piece. Anyway, back in August, we were awarded the grant, and what it means for the town is about a $46,000 investment from the government, and our contribution to that is about 5%, which is $2,600 or so, which we had budgeted for in our budget in hopes to get the grant. Anyway, long story short, it was supported, the money is available, the grant has been awarded, and this public hearing is for the fact that asking the board to accept that grant from FEMA and to make you all aware of that as well. So if there's any questions from folks regarding that, happy to, or any questions from the board regarding that.
Nice job, keep up the good work.
Thank you. Yeah, we're happy with that.
Good. Then I'll just accept it.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah. I make a motion to accept the unanticipated monies from FEMA on behalf of the Homeland Security for the Assistance to the Firefighters Grant in the amount of $47,620, with the town's contribution of $2,375 in the total amount of $49,995. Do I have a second?
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. That all you needed with that?
We can close the public hearing unless there's any questions.
Any questions on the grant? Okay. I close the portion of the public hearing, and we go to the selectmen's meeting. Good? Okay. Okay. It's 6:05. I will open up public input for any questions that anybody has.
These are for you. We're gonna be here a while.
Just figured he'd want to get you some sugar, so it's gonna be a long night.
Thank you.
employees by having a buzzer system at the front doors, locked at the academy? Why do you have a complete disregard for the safety of the citizens of the town by not providing enough staff and support for the Gilmanton Police Department? Why is the safety of the employees in the town hall any more important than the citizens of Gilmanton or any individual that actually travels through this town? Please explain what seems to be your purposeful acts to prevent the police department from being fully staffed.
For starters, the question is it fully staffed? What is fully staffed? Do you know?
You'll find that your police officers are leaving. So
Yeah.
is it fully staffed now? I don't think so.
What is fully staffed? We have 3 officers now.
They are not providing enough hours to secure the town's
They're not
facilities.
doing any more hours. They're doing the same hours if you had 4 or 5 guys. They performed all the hours that they were to perform last week and still managed to get details in. So
And
I
where
don't
do you
understand,
find-
where do you get the alarming thing?
Okay, where do you find your statistics compared to other towns similar to Gilmanton in size, population, crime? Where's your data? That's what you need providing for the town.
The town is being provided for. I mean, if you want to do like Samberton, or that they have 4. They had 4 and then did 5 for a while and had 24/7, but not anymore. They stopped that.
If you cannot trust your chief's opinion that he needs more services, then why are you the expertise on this?
Why am I? Because I've gone through it. I know what's going on.
You're not a police officer. You
It
never
doesn't
went
matter.
through
You don't have to be a
that.
police officer to know what's right and what's wrong. I don't. Who are you? Are you to question that it
No,
isn't?
I take the
Should-
chief's.
Should this
Opinion.
question be brought to the chief?
No, the chief feels, obviously, we need more people in town. People are leaving because of statements you're making. It's unsecuring the rest of us in town. And I just want you to know that I do not approve of it. I do not think it's correct at all.
Okay, thank you.
The next one, Mr. Bishop. I would like to ask you why you feel it's okay to make inappropriate statements to Chief Courier and Officer Mott. I am already in awe of how you can sit silent on the Board of Selectmen when your chairman uses derogatory comments about special needs children, when you yourself have a speech impairment, and I am sure you have dealt with derogatory comments over the years yourself. So when Chief Courier and Officer Mott were looking at books at Old Home Day, what gives you the right to say, I don't know why they are here, they can't read. They only know their ABCs. Please try to explain to me so I can understand your thought process and reasoning.
I'm not gonna explain anything to you.
I think that speaks volume. Thank you.
Fine.
There's that for the minutes.
Can I ask a
Yeah.
question, please? You stated about this issue with, Selectman Bishop here and Chief Courier Officer Mott. Where did you get this information?
You'll find that there's a letter that was written from the police officer himself.
Where can I find it?
Join the Gilmanton Community Sharing page.
I don't. So this is on Facebook, this complaint right here?
It's not a complaint. It's a letter of really resignation.
Excuse me, I'm asking Mr. Palmer.
Yeah,
So
it's public.
It was in whose, what? Who posted?
Officer Mott.
Yep.
It's public letter, and it's
I
presented
don't-
to the town.
I don't mind. I'm trying to
Yeah,
figure out.
no, that's exactly where I received my information from. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Amy Brown, Sawyer Lake. I just have 2 questions. In the current budget as it stands today, does it not clearly state that we are budgeted for 5 police officers?
Yeah, it was.
Okay, so we've lost 2.
Mhm.
So how are you saying we're fully staffed? If we're budgeted for 5, we had 5, 2 have left. So you're still saying we're fully staffed?
So you're saying 3 isn't enough?
That wasn't my question.
I'm
My
saying
question
fully,
was,
we
had
define
5
fully.
police no, my question was, we had 5 police officers. We've lost 2. We are down 2. But according to that, 2 have left, 5 are budgeted. You're saying we're fully staffed.
So,
It's a yes or no.
no,
Are we fully staffed or not?
I think they were adequately staffed, yeah. But more importantly is what I'm reading on Facebook.
I'm not asking about
But,
Facebook. I'm asking
I
specifically.
mean, that's where,
We had
specifically where it's all
5
coming
police
from.
officers. That's
I-
public knowledge outside of Facebook. Did we have 5?
Yeah, at one time.
Okay.
For not,
And we have
not,
lost 2.
I would, yeah,
Now you're saying we haven't lost 2.
what I'm saying is that what the hours that they worked last week.
I'm not asking about
I'm telling you,
hours.
but I'm trying to set it up that they're
Did
fully
we-
staffed
Did we have 5 police officers?
for a very short period of
And
time.
did we lose 2?
Yeah, but that one never got replaced.
But we
So it
lost
was at
2.
4, it was at 4 for a long
But
time.
we lost 2. Correct?
We lost 2 great ones in 2016 to
No,
start
I'm not
this
talking, I'm
kickoff.
talking about right now, Steve. Did we lose 2 officers, including Officer Mott?
Officer Mott did leave, yeah. He
Okay.
put his letter of resignation.
In July, you removed $72,000 from the budget.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That was tentatively set up in the police department for the chief to hire an officer.
Right.
Which you took.
Yes,
Where did it go?
it went into legal.
It went into legal, so
Mm-hmm.
it didn't go to the school budget.
No, that what we're
Okay,
going with all?
That's all I'm asking.
Well, if, keep reading Facebook and you'll
I'm
know
not.
everything
I'm
that's going on.
reading.
I'm reading what you're writing.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm
it's like,
asking.
yeah. Well, you
So,
should ask before you
3
write it.
in your eyes, Steve, is fully staffed. Now it's not?
I
You
don't
just
know.
said
I'm
it
not sure.
was.
I need time to reflect on this. I just, no. I mean, I think 3 right now, they could adequately do the job for right now. Absolutely.
Okay, so my last question is in regards to details. I know that as of now, our PD is not doing details.
Outside details.
Outside details. Is that just for Gilmanton, or is that gonna be statewide?
Is that how I don't have the autonomy to statewide it?
So for now, you're
No.
taking away
What I did
police.
and what the board voted on was that it was coming to us in multiple times that they are understaffed, overworked, it's affecting the morale. So we decided that let's stop the outside details so they can get back, get rested, and when you're all set, then come back.
So if they're, so you just said they're understaffed.
That's
So are
what they
understaffed
said,
or
that's what
fully
they
staffed?
said, that's what they said. No, you need to listen, twist it if
That's
you
fine.
want.
I'm not
Go ahead,
twisting.
Heather. Go
Okay,
ahead,
so
yeah.
I'll make some clarifications on statements that you've made and statements that the board has made. I think the better question to ask in reference to fully staffed versus not fully staffed is hours of coverage. 2 out of 3 of our members, I haven't talked with Selectman Wilson, feel that due to how many hours we have in coverage, that our staff currently in the PD can cover those hours that have been since I've been here, which is 112 hours. So regardless of full staff versus not full staff, the staff that we have can cover the town adequately for 112 man hours. As far as the details, the outside details were extra work. Anytime you have a concern that officers should be covering the town first and then the extra, the town was concerned that they weren't covering adequately in reference to adding the extra work for outside detail. They said, okay, we're gonna take the outside detail away, that way you only have to concentrate on the town. Plain and simple. The board has the purview to do that. Outside detail is their purview in reference to whether our police department does it or not.
Okay,
Just clarification.
that's fine.
Good information going out instead of speculation.
And have you spoken to the remaining 3 officers about the ability which they have in surrounding towns to make extra money, which makes us money for details?
No, I have not spoken with them, and that's questionable on this big money-making thing that details make.
Isn't it in
There-
the
there is
warrant
a- do
article
you know
that
the
talked
difference
about
between
how much
revenue
money
and profit?
the town was going to make off of the police officers doing
What's
details?
that?
Wasn't this in the warrant article about the police officers' details making the town extra money, which we obviously
Right,
did?
and how did it go?
That's what I'm asking. Was it
I'm
in
asking you, how did it all go as far as the percentages?
I'm asking, was it changed? It was.
Because
Because there was a loophole that had to be rewritten
Mm-hmm.
to actually allow you to take that money. Because the way it was written, you were stuck, so that money was floating there and you couldn't touch it. Did I misunderstand that? when I voted on it?
and beyond that, what?
I'm not talking about that.
But I'm still talking about the revolving fund, Amy. You
But it
talk
was
about the-
fixed so that the town could take some percentage of
What
that money,
percentage?
correct? I know. Is it, I give up, Steve. You've answered my question.
Okay,
both
thank
ways,
you.
So still don't have any clarification. Thanks, Doug.
You're welcome.
Larry Driscoll, Joe Jones Road. So my question for you, sir, is what is the plan going forward on the safety of the citizens of this town?
I think that the citizens are plenty safe right now.
So 3 officers covering, what, 7 days a week? Right? How many hours a day is that?
That's not my liberty to say what the coverage is for the
I mean,
town.
I'm curious because of the fact that we had 4, at some point you said we had 5, correct?
Yeah, at one point.
At one point.
And I felt as though 5 was like way too many.
So then we went down to 4,
They had
right?
4.
And 4 was fine, 4 was fully staffed, right? So now we're short staffed, correct? So what is the plan going forward?
We need to sit down with the chief and find out.
So this letter of resignation, his resignation was tendered on the 20th, correct? He left the job on the 20th and from.
Hey, that was his last day, yes.
Yeah, that was his last day, so the letter was written, I believe, before that, right? Why are we still sitting here trying to figure out what the plan is? I'm just trying to ask you why we don't have a plan yet
A plan for
replacing
hiring.
an officer.
Then that should be a discussion with the chief. Because the board has taken it, and I read it on Facebook, that.
I don't care about Facebook.
Okay, well, that's the thing.
This has to do with the safety of the citizens in the town.
I saw your message to me on Facebook,
Yeah,
okay?
you're right, because I was gonna ask you this question last week, but the meeting was canceled.
But
So I'm standing here asking you now, what is your plan?
the plan is that we need to sit down. And for right now, the town is totally covered.
So right now, at 9 o'clock at night, right, there is an officer on call.
There's an officer right there.
At 9 o'clock tonight, there's gonna be an officer on call.
I would hope so.
Has he been working all day today, or was he working all day yesterday, or is he
I
expected to
don't
work
know
all
their
day tomorrow?
schedules. I don't know their schedules, and I can't answer that question. And that's the kind of questions that I would like to be able to answer when I have
Well, I think you
schedules.
should get us the answer, sir.
I don't know their schedules.
I think you should have the answer, sir.
Do you think I should have schedules?
That's what you see the law.
Yeah, that's what I want, is schedules, absolutely. That way I could answer your
You
question.
should have the answer to the question.
Roberta Driscoll,
About safety.
question for you. There was originally a budgeted line item for 5 officers, correct?
Yes.
How is that calculated? How does the town of Gilmanton decide, when it submits its budget, how many police officer positions? Is it by population? Is it by area? What's it by? What's the formula?
I don't know.
So you don't, okay. So just, you picked a random number, 5, we're gonna put in a budget for 5? Maybe 3, maybe 7, just 5?
When it was 5,
Uh-huh.
I felt as though that was way too many.
But
You could see
that's
where they were.
That's not the question. The question is, how did the budget committee, or whoever, actually, let's start with that question. Who concluded that 5 was the appropriate number?
As we did.
Uh-huh.
It's our budget.
Okay, so you concluded that 5 was the appropriate number based on some calculation, not just pulling a number out of a hat, right?
I would assume,
Okay, so has the town shrunk since 5 was an appropriate number? Has there been a mass exodus of citizens from Gilmanton since 5 was the appropriate number? Has the crime rate gone down in Gilmanton since 5 was the appropriate number? Isn't it true that we had a home invasion arrest in Gilmanton?
We have
When was the last
we
time
have
that
a lot of
happened?
crime in Gilmanton.
And so we have a lot of crime, so the chairman of our board is saying we have a lot of crime in
Lot of crime,
Gilmanton.
yeah.
But 3 officers is enough to
So
address
you
it,
put,
not 5.
and you go ahead and put 4 officers there, and you're still getting the same coverage. You're not
No,
getting any
that-
different coverage.
Simply the math doesn't add up. If you have a schedule for 5 people,
They're doubled up. So if you got 3 officers at 40 hours, that's 120 hours. If you got
did you
4, it's
not just say a
160.
few minutes ago that the reason you took the details away was so that the officers would be rested for their shift?
Yeah.
So now you're doubling them up on shift. So
They're
now
not doubling
doubling
up. Okay,
Well,
let me
that's
tell
what
you.
just said.
Okay, the first, nobody worked any more than their regular 40 hours
So you
last
have
week.
3 officers.
Except for, well, they did 26 hours worth of detail last week. they managed to get 26 hours of detail, and nobody worked over the 40 hours.
So
With three people.
3 officers working 40 hours covered a 7-day, 24-hour shift in Wilmington.
It's not 24 hours. We never had 24 hours.
So how many hours are we supposed to
I'm not
staff?
telling you that.
You're not telling me
No,
that.
I'm not giving away the hours of operation or what we cover here in town.
Oh, for safety reasons?
Yes.
You pick
Thank
and
you.
choose.
You wouldn't want people to know the hours of operation of the police department.
I want to know that my family is safe in this town. I want to know that my property is safe in this town. I want to know that whatever the potential crime in this town might be, a home invasion, drug dealing, whatever it might be, drug use. I would like to know that we have enough police officers to address those concerns. And from what I'm hearing from you tonight, you're not answering that question with any.
I'm not gonna tell you the hours of operation of the
I don't
police
care about
department.
the hours, I'm
That's
asking
what
the
you-
total number. I don't care if you tell me they're here from 7 to 7, I don't care if you tell me they're here from 6 to 2. I want to know how many hours our 3 police officers are supposed to cover in Gilmanton, where you think that 3 equals 5.
40 hours a week is what they worked.
3 each, so when you had 5, did each one work 40 hours a week?
Yeah,
So we had more coverage with 5 than with 3, right? So we can agree that 5 is more than 3.
I agree with that. Necessary, that's the question.
Well, I don't know.
Right, sorry. For clarification, this board does not dictate how many police officers work in town, nor does the budget committee. You know who does? The taxpayer. And the taxpayer voted for 5. If they vote for 10, they'll get 10. It ain't up to Steve McQueen. It's not. If you listen back to the tape, I decided. Well, it ain't up to you, pal. It ain't up to you. And I'll tell you right now, there's gonna be a real problem if one of these guys gets hurt or killed in the line of duty because you guys decide that 3's enough, because 3 is not enough. You know it, and I know it. You got 2 selectmen that got a vendetta against.
There's no vendetta.
Yeah, there is.
No, stop.
Yeah, there is.
No, okay.
Yeah, there is. There's a vendetta.
Move on, please.
Yeah, I'll move on when I'm good and ready.
I know.
I got the floor
There's no
right now,
vendetta.
so don't overtalk.
There's no vendetta, please. There's
Yeah.
no vendetta.
If you guys spent your time doing your budget instead of waiting a month at budget season like you have now, then you will get enough money in your budget so you don't have to take from the police department budget and the road budget. Do your work. Don't try and screw somebody, because you're screwing the taxpayers. They want police coverage, they want fire coverage. Ask Mr. Hempel if he can lose a couple guys. I don't think so. Could he
You're
get?
gonna reference that?
Yeah, I am. I
You
am
really
gonna.
are? You're gonna
I
come
am.
right out and say that?
Absolutely.
That's
That's
huge.
absolutely.
That's huge.
I never took a guy from Mr. Hempel,
Yeah.
ever.
No, you wanted to take the whole station
No.
and have Bonstead do
No,
it.
wrong.
Yes, you did.
Wrong.
Whatever.
No.
Okay, whatever.
You don't take anybody from your office, you hire more. And you guys are overworked, you can't even get minutes out. Look at the minutes. July 9th is the last minutes that I saw last week. I don't,
I'm recognizing the board.
okay, that's
Not
fine.
you.
I'm talking to the selectmen. I'm talking to the, let me talk to the selectmen.
Yeah, you, quiet right
I'm
here.
talking to the
I
selectmen.
got it.
If you got so much work, then get it done. But you don't throw it out and say the police department have enough people, because one of them guys gets hurt. And it's real easy. I don't know, you're not law enforcement, and neither am I. But I see it on the news every day, where 1 or 2 cops are getting shot. And it can happen in little old Gilmanton, just like it can happen in Chicago or Mississippi or Texas. And it will eventually. You ought to be thinking about it.
Have it?
So clarification on the police officers we're currently covering, 3 full-time police officers covering 120 hours, based on 40 hours a week, times 3 is 120, which is status quo. There are no additional officers except for the part-timer who could be put on a shift, but that of course.
They have 2 part-timers.
Right, but one who's currently actively working for the department, but of course that's scheduling issues, which is the chief's purview. As far as the minutes go,
Okay.
Can I just ask a point of clarification about Mr. Carrier's comment about the vendetta? You said earlier that the $72,000 that got taken out of the police budget was put into the legal budget, is that correct?
Correct.
Is that for legal costs that you incurred suing the police, in litigation with the police
I'm
department?
not suing the police department.
In litigation with the police department, is what I said.
Yeah, yes.
Okay, no vendetta.
No vendetta. We're the defendants.
You're appealing, right?
Pardon me?
You're appealing, right?
We're
So you're
defendants.
the appellants, because you're appealing them,
We did what?
right?
Apple?
Is that right?
What's happening?
There's no appeal now.
No.
We're going to-
We're going to appeal, we're going to court. We're going to court.
This is litigation.
We're going to court. Christie? Anybody?
Hey,
Quickly, we gotta pick it up here.
so 3 police officers is enough, correct?
For right
So
now.
you want your 3 officers who are full-timers to work 52 weeks a year. Do you have a contingency plan in place in case one of them wants to take a vacation? Or do you believe in working them to the bone for 52 straight weeks a year?
Well, we're gonna figure that out. We're gonna have to sit down with Chief Currier and see if he's willing to,
Take vacation leave?
please be quiet.
You know, it's just amazing you don't have a contingency plan for people. You know, that's
A contingency
inhumane not having
plan,
a plan in place
a
for people
contingency,
who wanna
yeah,
take
just
vacation.
call up Belknap County and have the sheriffs come.
How
Hey,
much
you
is that
wanna-
gonna
How
cost?
much will that sit?
What's the cost on that?
Just out of
Please be
curiosity.
quiet till it's time to talk, if you're gonna get up and
Just out
talk.
of curiosity, what would that set us back?
I don't know, they're like $90 an hour or something, I don't know.
So that's $3,600 for covering a vacation. If you work 40 hours, if you're asking for 40 hours.
I don't
coverage-
foresee it being like this all the time, Mike, but
I'm trying to put some, it doesn't make sense to me, you don't have a plan in place for someone who may wanna take a vacation.
they've already taken the
And you're ready to call the Belknap
vacations.
County Sheriff in at $90 an hour, that's $3,600 if you're asking for 40 hours.
Yeah, costs money.
Yeah, so where are you gonna get the 3,600 to cover?
We're not at that point, Mike, so I think Chicken Little, the sky isn't falling, everybody.
I wouldn't wanna work for a company unless I knew I had a vacation coming to me and I wasn't gonna be
I
paid
wouldn't want to
for
work for a company that didn't have a schedule. My boss would definitely have a schedule.
it. You are the boss. Well, no, he's a select, he's effectively.
Bob Burton, before we let you change, Bob Burton. Thank you. So you said you'll hire the call in the Belknap County Sheriff's Department if we had to?
If we had to, if we, you know, I mean,
And how much does that cost?
I don't know, it was like $90 an hour or something to cover a shift.
And where does that come out of, which budget?
I would assume the police department budget.
After
For
they're already short?
Short money.
Short money?
They're not short, they're not short money.
They're not?
That $72,116 was from, the police officer that apparently they're not gonna get, the 5th one.
The 5th officer
Yeah.
that you decided the town didn't need, but yet the
No,
town's
we
paying,
did-
the
no,
towns
no.
pay their tax
No,
collectors.
they had an agreement.
Who
And the Board of Selectmen had an agreement for that BIP one, and it didn't fall, it fell through.
The town select, the
You know
town
how come,
selectmen, the selectmen had an agreement with who?
To hire the BIP one,
They
Which
had
I-
a
which-
candidate that they were gonna hire?
they had a candidate. Yeah.
Okay, so then, since that candidate fell through, did you reopen the position again?
No, we took the money. We were told that he's not going to comply with the stuff that the Board of Selectmen wants to properly vet any employee coming into the town. Please be quiet, everybody.
So, let's go to your statement previously. Let me back up a little bit. How long have we known each other, Steve?
Long time.
Right, okay? I try not to get involved in this stuff, but now you hit home, okay?
As far as,
Some of your comments you've made, okay? And I'm not gonna address that right now. Maybe I'll come back up, or maybe I will, okay?
get it out now, because we're gonna be shutting it down here very shortly.
You're sure, 100%, look me in the eye and tell me that this isn't a personal vendetta.
This is-
Because you and I had a conversation on February 20th, okay? You may not remember, but I can spark your memory and go on about it if you'd like. I'm sure you would.
This is not a personal vendetta.
You're sure?
I'm looking you right in the eye. This is not personal. I am not taking this personal one bit. I am doing what I feel is right, and the board is voting on what they feel is right. This whole thing of $70,000 got spent, whatever got spent on legal, we are asking to have what every surrounding town's board of selectmen already have.
Which is what?
All of the directives. You go look, everybody, you want to talk, go in and Google the Board of Selectmen down in Guilford, and go into their job description. And in their job description, it is police policies. They just write them, and it's done. Those directors, the 17 of them, there's one in there that's offset for the rest of them, but the 16 of them, actually, they are not telling the police department what to do. They are telling the police department to tell us what they are doing.
Okay, so then, if that's the case, why did the judge rule against you, saying that you can't have half of that information that you're looking for?
He did not say that at all.
Well, actually, he did, because you don't have it. He said
No,
until it goes to court, you're not going to get that information.
He didn't want to take the time to split them up and give them the ones that are no-brainers.
Okay. So
what he wanted to do.
So you're telling me that every police department in Belknap County and the state of New Hampshire has all those directives?
No, yeah. A good portion of them are all just SOPs, not even directives.
I'm not a
Standard operating procedure.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
So, be quiet, please. They're no-brainers. There's no reason why. And so when all of a sudden you get kickback from what's going on and why are you getting kickback on these directives, then there's got to be more to the story.
What do you mean by kickback?
Kickback, not doing it. They're suing us. We're being sued by the police department because of these directives.
Because that's information that you don't need.
That's incorrect, because if something goes out and something happens and I don't see all of the information, I'm the one that's on the hot seat. We are. If we don't vet these things, everybody else sees them.
And is that why you stop and frisk people when they come into town hall?
What was that all about? I didn't get that. Yeah, no, I don't understand that at all. That never happened. What?
Really?
Yeah. What? Yeah, who said that? Somebody said that.
For somebody?
Yeah, they said that I frisked somebody. It was on Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that.
So you're telling me that didn't
never happened. Bring that person here and I'll talk to him all day long. That was it must have been meant as a joke or something. Because I never frisked anybody.
Really?
Yeah.
You don't intimidate anybody?
No.
No? You don't stand there with your gun behind your shirt and open it up and intimidate anybody?
No.
We're calling kids with disabilities.
Now, be quiet. No.
Really?
I'm allowed to exercise my amendments, and if I get to carry a weapon on me, then I will.
Right. And when you get all amped up and tell people, bring it on, and see somebody in a store somewhere that you don't like because they have different opinions of you, and you don't get all worked up and you stand there and say, well, I'm not too worried about it because I got this under my shirt. You don't think that's intimidation?
I don't recall that at all. I don't know if that's something to say.
Public comment, I need to make some clarifications on what happens here versus what happens out in the public.
But when you're talking as a town, a representative as a town, it doesn't matter. Just like the crayon eating comment. Okay? No, it actually doesn't. Just like the crayon eating comment.
I'll make my clarification.
Okay, good.
I'd like to ask something. If I could, Bob?
Bob, yeah.
Do you have any employees?
Nope.
Or have you been in a job that you had employees?
I've had employees in the past.
All right, well, answer me just one question.
Sure.
If you are hiring, you want to see everything, don't you? Or you won't put your name on that dotted line.
Well, when you say I want to see everything, what are you referring to? Everything?
everything, all right, everything about that person who you are going to hire.
I'd like to know what I need to know, to know that that person's qualified to do their position.
It's true, very true. That's the end of my case.
Okay, perfect. And your point is what, sir?
Because we're not allowed to see him.
We're not allowed to see the background checks. Or
The what?
The background
checks?
And I've already told them I will not sign for a police officer unless I can see everything and kind of take it all in, just to make sure, because just after the day that Bill Booth passed on, I had 2-pound taxpayer come in and said, "It's your fault." What do you mean it's my fault? You didn't make sure the defibs and the police, vehicles were working. I go, I never even knew that they had them. So see, there's a lot of in things here that the public doesn't know, and they don't need to know.
We don't need to know?
No, you don't need to know a lot of things. But you need to talk to the police chief. That's who you need to talk to. Because he could have solved all this.
I think the chairman of the board could have solved all this by dropping his personal vendetta that he
I
said he
would.
doesn't have.
I tried, be quiet please. I tried to speak with the department head on many, many occasions. And I got, and I got the door slammed on my face at least 5 or 6 times.
Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. My brother works for the Belknap County Sheriff's Department.
His
okay?
name?
What's that?
His name?
Dave Perkins. Okay.
Yeah.
Number 2, I'm gonna go to him and I'm gonna find out, because I don't have time to run to all the different departments in town. I probably will stop and see the Alton Police Chief tomorrow and find out if he has all these directives that you see, okay? That you say every other town has.
They gotta just go to Guilford. Go to
No,
Guilford.
I could care less about Guilford right now, okay?
It all matters. It all matters, Bob.
You're
It all
right, it
matters.
does. You're right, it does. Because what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to my brother and I'm gonna have him find out for me, because he probably knows all that anyway, okay? And then I'm gonna come back to you and tell you that it doesn't, whether I agree with you that they do have it or that they don't have it. Okay?
Okay. That sounds good, Bob.
Okay. I might be back.
Well, you'll come back. You'll come back either way.
I might be back tonight.
No, I'm going to close in public input pretty soon here. But come back anyways, Bob, and let me know what you found out, please. Thank you. Joe, quickly, you got to run this up here.
Well, this is why Joseph S. Haas at hotmail.com. That's why I asked to be put on the agenda, so I wasn't squeezed. I just have a few questions. Did Deborah talk with you about what she learned at the Tax Collectors Association up in North Conway last Wednesday, Thursday, and
I
Friday?
haven't spoken with her yet, no.
Because I asked her if they talked about the Polonsky case and maybe some other cases that I haven't talked to her myself. But I will talk to her if she's not busy after I see you. And what I'm getting at is RSA 76:11-A, Roman numeral 1.
How do you remember that, Joe?
Well, it gives you people,
How do you remember that?
well, because I read it just a few minutes ago. It gives you the power to put a statement into the tax bills when they're sent out. And what I'd like to do, here's another question for you too, is have you listened to on the internet or attended any of these Tobin Valinsky educational seminars that they've been having throughout the state?
I have not.
Because tomorrow at 6
Is
o'clock,
that what you sent us? Is that what you sent me?
yeah.
I
I haven't attended one myself, I just looked at the one in Derry. And tomorrow night, they're gonna have another one at 6 o'clock at the Concord High School. And what they do is they put up a screen like this, and on the chart, they put the Londonderry case of 2006, but they don't tell anything about it. I keep on telling you guys, read pages 8 and 9 of 19 of the internet version. It says when the adequacy amount has been determined, which it has, then there's supposed to be no more local property tax for education. 36.06. And then they add in SPED, they call it Special Education and Transportation, to get it up to another figure, and that figure is about $1,000 less than what the charter schools can do to meet the adequacy, which is RSA 198:38. So all of these property taxes, he's saying to everybody, it's all unlawful. But I mean, how many people have actually put an abatement in to have it relieved by you guys? You guys could come out with a statement saying, yes, that when I win my case, 2018-0289 at the New Hampshire Supreme Court on the Bosquen case, you know, the judge allowed me to appeal it. And the brief of the defendant town was supposedly filed on Friday. I haven't checked my mailbox in Concord lately. And then I get 20 days to put a reply brief in. But what I'm getting at is you guys, you know, the October and November. November is when the next bills go out. So I would like to have a meeting with you to discuss that. But I would like to talk with you on an intelligent basis so that if you could attend either the meeting in Concord or the one in Rochester, which is on the following week, on Wednesday, October 10th, at I presume 6 o'clock too. I don't know where it is. It's down there somewhere. But the woman that's running for the state senate that's going against Jim Gray, she's the one that set it up. Grassy, I think's her name. Mm-hmm. And right now, as I'm speaking, they have a meeting in town here, one of those meet and greets at somebody's house. The second one, I attended the first one. The 3 Democratic ones that, for the House. And you know, it would be nice to meet with them, to talk with them, to say, well, yes, we'd like this put into legislation if you could do it. You know, sort of like, well, I won't get into all that other stuff on the other projects I have. But, what was I going to say? The first Thursday in November 1st, I think it is, John Fossey of the SAU, it's in tentative stage right now to have a forum at the high school, elementary school, for all the candidates, sort of like what we had for the town. And that's the time to ask questions. And I'd like to have you, you know, attend one of these educational seminars so that you are informed and can ask certain questions that will be a benefit to the taxpayers when they get those tax bills.
Okay.
And also, too, George Kildum, our assessor, I mean, he should be maybe notified of that, too. I mean, even though, I mean, it's not, well, he assesses all these properties and then it's taxed so much per thousand for the schools, but that's not supposed to be. That's what Tobin is saying. So, well, how do you solve that? You solve that by you guys saying, well, even though we acknowledge that the statute is unconstitutional, we won't let it go any forward, but if it goes forward, we'll abate. That's what I'm hoping.
Okay. Thank you, Joe.
And how come he doesn't get a cushy seat like you?
I don't know.
Well, man, political.
Yeah, well, man on the telephone.
That's right. Okay.
My name is Valerie Cody, also Tocho Ahagi, my native name.
Thank you.
Why did you roll the eyes when you looked at me?
What are you talking about?
You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Is that what you want to talk about?
I'm talking.
Yeah,
I got
then,
the floor.
yeah,
Just listen.
but that, no.
Just listen.
You can try. Go ahead.
We don't have enough police department to cover this town. I don't care what Guilford does, Belmont, Alton. We don't have enough to cover it. So if something happens to one of our police officers, God forbid, or any one of these citizens, God forbid, there's blood on your hands. Oh, and you're willing to accept that. That's ridiculous.
Yeah,
I've run a business. I've had 30 iron workers working under me. I don't need to do background checks, and I trust them with my life 200 feet in the air. That's ridiculous. These guys work their butts off, and you don't care. My next question, I don't need an answer. My next question to you is, did you get your builder permit for your own house?
No.
It's simple as that.
Yes,
I beg your pardon?
Yes, I am going to get it.
You're gonna get it.
We wanna get
That's great. So anybody that wants to build anything, just go ahead and build it and get your building permit afterwards. Thank you very much. You two, discuss it.
I know, you hate me.
Thank you,
Yeah, you hate me.
No, hate isn't a
Yeah,
strong enough
okay,
word,
yeah.
Mr. McWilliams.
Thank you.
Hate is not a strong enough word.
Thank you. Thank you. Quickly, we have to get other people here.
Yep, sure. Well, you wanted my response, so I said, I sent my brother a text. Again, Dave Perkins.
Yep,
Number 2, Belknap County Sheriff's Department.
yep.
How many
I
towns in
spoke- I
Belknap
spoke.
County, excuse me?
I've spoken with him.
You did, perfect. How many towns in Belknap County have the directives the Gilmanton Select Board wants to enforce on the Gilmanton PD? His response, 0.
Well,
I said, I'm at the selectmen's meeting now. McWhinney said Guilford does. He said, nope, one of the Guilford selectmen works for us, and he shakes his head about this.
yeah, no, you pull it out.
So now, wait a minute. Now he says to me, someone's having a heart attack on the parking lot of the town hall. Out front. So that's probably why the police chief left, and the whistles. So that's why the chief's gone, because he was here too.
Sergeant, chief was here too?
The fire chief. Yeah, so it's under control, so you can sit here and run, unless you need to micromanage that too.
No, stop.
Great,
Okay,
great.
is that what we're going about? That's.
We haven't gone there yet.
Okay, we will though. And you can,
So we'll go back to my comment. So none of the towns in Belknap County,
that's not true.
none of the towns in Belknap County have the directives that you're asking
No,
for.
what's he
So
gonna-
you need to drop the directives.
No, I will not drop the directives
I
at
think,
all.
I think that.
I will
think
not.
That, I think that. No,
I
you're
will
absolutely
not.
Correct. You're absolutely correct, Steve. You do not. But I think the wishes of the taxpayer of Gilmanton
Yeah.
wanted to end.
No, of course they do. But
Because-
the majority of them don't, they want this. This was accountability. You don't hire somebody and then you say, go do whatever you want. You can't have that, Bob.
They don't do
Yeah,
it.
yeah, they do
They
that.
do not do that.
Yeah, they do.
No, they don't.
I'm telling you right now,
They
Bob, you
can't do
don't
what they
know.
want.
Are you aware of the everyday in and day out events that go on in the police department?
Well, they must do police department work.
Are you aware of what gets done on a day-to-day basis for the police department?
So
It's a question.
No, I don't.
Okay.
So then you do?
I've got a, yeah.
You do.
Well, somewhat for what I'm being told. Be quiet.
No, please, Mike.
Be quiet. You be quiet. So, yeah, no. There is every one of those directives from the past board. There is a concern in every one of them. That's what's going on in the town. People, they need to know that there is boundaries, that there are rules. They don't.
Okay.
They don't. They feel as though they don't answer to anybody,
Who does it? You're saying taxpayers,
No,
residents?
I'm not talking about taxpayers. I'm doing this for the taxpayers. I've actually saved money.
Really? So you because I haven't heard one person come up front here tonight and say, Steve, you're doing a great job. Thank you very much. How many people have come to, not tonight, previous board meetings and say, Mr. McWhinney, I want to thank you for saving us money. I want to thank you for this directives and reining in the police chief and reining in the police department. How many of that?
They don't come here.
They don't?
No, they don't come
That's a
here.
shame, because I'll tell you what, sir. You
There-
would
there-
save
there-
you
there
would
actually
save
is a
yourself
lot.
a lot of grief.
No, I
if
would not.
someone-
Point of order here.
Yeah. Thanks.
This is it. This is not what the selectmen meeting is all about. It's not a question and answer. We have to do the
not a
town
question and
business.
answer.
It is not.
No, it's actually
It
just
is-
a public input. You say.
Right, and that's it. So-
I go beyond to.
Okay, well then I say, you have a personal vendetta.
No, I don't, and you're wrong. Okay. Go ahead.
So clarification on some points made here tonight. The directives did come out of a concern, a list of concerns from the board. The board was not receiving the answers from the police department via the chief. That is why the suit came about eventually. There was two proceedings. There was an in-house proceeding that went after the chief and asked these questions. went to legal counsel and sought legal counsel instead of negotiating any of these terms. Aside from that, there are other communities that have a portion of these directives. Not every town has the same amount of items that they require from their police department. Yes, there isn't this exact replica in some other town for other police departments. There are items from it that are in existence in other towns. Also, given our legal counsel and how we proceeded in this entire case, it is completely the board's purview to request what they're asking. The judge did not make a judgment, that's why it's still going through mediation and still going to court. He put an opinion out. Unfortunately, he didn't separate any of those directives. He could have, he did not. That does not mean that was a decision by any means. A decision comes out of a court hearing. We have not had a court hearing. We haven't even gone to mediation. Mediation will be happening in the future, and hopefully we can work it out. Hopefully, we can stop with the back and forth of court and spending the money. That would be awesome. However, that's not where we're at the point. This board has not received information that was required. We as a town require background checks and polygraphs. The board has every right to ask for those items based on their hiring process. Absolutely. Absolutely. No, absolutely. It is per legal counsel that this board has every right to know who they are hiring. Period. Period. So those are my clarifications.
Okay, quickly, some,
Could you stop dropping your chewed fingernails on the floor because somebody has to clean it up?
yeah, okay. 6:54. All right, anyway, quickly, anybody?
Yo, funny guy. Funny guy.
Come on.
Janice McQueen. I'm reading this letter that was in the newspaper because I hoped that it would go on Facebook. I'm sure it was an oversight because I know Amy Brown puts everything from the
It
newspaper
was shared by
into the, excuse me, I'm talking.
It was
Please don't
shared.
be so rude.
You just called me names.
You know, I'm sure that it's an oversight on their part, because she does put all the letters in there. So that's why I would like to read this
Okay.
myself, okay? First of all, it's a tribute. First of all, I'd like to thank and praise the Gilmanton Rescue Squad and the fire chief for their prompt and courteous care recently on our emergency call for my husband Bob to go to the hospital. Due to their diligence, everything went smoothly and a possible disaster was avoided. Mostly, I would like to thank our chairman, Steve, our son, for his undying daily support and time as a caregiver for my 100% disabled veteran husband and his dearly loved dad. Without his and his brother's help, his dad would indeed not be able to remain at home comfortably with his family. He's also generous in his support of local folks in need with his contributions of his large garden products, venison, neighborly acts, and help at the food pantry. I ask you, does this justify misinterpreting a few ill-spoken words taken out of context? Now, I'm not here to grandstand with pictures and witnesses to help support or sympathy, but I would like to pay a tribute to our family's loving cousin Paul, a specially challenged needs child who was brought up at home most of his life with endless love and care, taught manners, sexually assaulted at a young age at a group home, and not allowed to testify for himself. But his parents formed a committee, and in a record of 9 months in Massachusetts had a law passed so that special needs folks could testify in private. He aged beautifully, loved his trains, which he visited every time on visits home, and gained the love and support of many friends and family. Attended Mass every week, and amazingly, was able to even serve as an altar boy. Last week, we lost Paul after a long battle with cancer. And since we could not attend the services, we wish to say, rest in peace, Paul. We love and miss you.
Thank you.
Thank
Last one.
Thank you. Christy Lorendo, Sawyer Lake. When were the directives start, when were they instigated? When did you start?
When did they start being,
Yes, when did you look into?
early 17?
Early
Like
17.
March, maybe, April,
Okay.
May, somewhere around there.
I seem to recall in summer, I think either June or July of 2016, we lost a couple of officers.
Well, that was I mean, which directives are you speaking of?
When did you started with the directives?
We attempted to do directives in 16.
You did?
And they were totally circumvented and,
Okay. I seem to recall,
that-
though, in June or July, I'm not quite sure of the date, of 2016,
yeah,
There was
we lost 2 police
we
officers
lost 2 officers.
in July. I
And there
think,
was an emergency
Meeting
letter, whatever,
to stop outside
because you were so
details.
concerned about the state of the police department. Why didn't you involve the chief in that?
He was. I mean,
He was not. He was blindsided, was he not? With this
That
letter about
blindsided-
stopping directives?
Which one? What year are you talking about?
Not we're stopping directives, we're stopping details. Excuse me.
Details. Yeah, well,
Long
no,
term.
that was because we heard that the officers were leaving, and we weren't even notified. And the officers said that they notified everybody, and all of a sudden, boom. And as far as I'm concerned, we lost a couple of good officers. I was sad to see
Okay.
Officer
But
Gustafson and Officer Charles leave.
But you started making some rules without involving the chief?
Rules as far as,
About no outside details?
well, that's not just a rule, that's just something that we can do.
Okay, but wouldn't you consult your department head?
Maybe, yeah.
Isn't that?
In a perfect world, sure, absolutely, that would be great.
Isn't that why you have chiefs and department
Yeah,
heads though?
yeah.
You would trust them to go and run your department so you don't have to.
Yeah, in a
Get in
perfect
there.
world, that would be great, Christine, yeah. But, thank you. All right, I'm closing input at 6:59. Thank you. All right.
Good night, guys.
Approvals, minutes.
That's when you emailed us this week, right? That's when you emailed us?
Did we have them in hard? Yeah, I was good with them. Did you read them?
Yeah, I did. I was good.
You with them? That was what date? No, I read them, I just, no, I'm cool with them.
Those are the ones that are also downstairs in the file, right? Yeah.
I make a motion to approve the minutes of September 5th, 2018.
I second that.
All in favor? Aye. Okay, consent agenda. Whiskey?
If it was, I would have had
Can I borrow it?
If it was, it would be gone by now.
This one here is the fire truck repair, right?
Yep.
The pressure breathing. No, that's the,
So everything in the file should all separate, it should be in,
I separated it.
separated. It wasn't.
Power products, emergency. I got engine 3 repair right here.
I got the, this is the grant one.
Alright, this is, I'm cool with this one.
Do you have questions about anything that you want?
No, this is just the grant.
Grant one? We to sign that one, right? Oh, that whole thing was on it?
Yeah, that's all. Just the one here, Steve?
I think so. Yeah. Oh, this is, what Paul wants. It's too great, Marshall. Yep.
On these, books here, you're gonna have, true cost.
So I for the annual report.
Okay.
Cores?
I prefer
I
the
think
color
it's,
photos because it's still under the price that we paid for it last year.
Okay, so that's this one. Okay.
Right, and that includes.
48 inch
the
galleries,
color
yeah.
photos will be covered.
48 inch,
48 inch gallon.
40 of them,
Well, I wanted to get.
How much is it?
20,000. The galvanized pipe that they're ordering,
Yeah,
what can you tell me about that?
so I asked Paul, I'm not sure, I asked for any background information, he said Brenda had background information, but I think he was talking about the company's background information. I don't know what the product is for or what the purpose is.
Can we get more information on that, or we get that tonight?
That's the one I told you I had trouble.
Oh, no, it's $1,900, $1,970. It's colors.
It's 19,000.
Yeah, okay, you had me
That's a little
going
more,
there.
yeah.
You had me going.
You will have to call up after we're done signing and what they're going to do.
Do we need more voting booths, is that what we're getting?
No, it's a new one for the handicap. It's like it was half the money the guy's going out of business.
Yeah, it would have been $1,100 normally, the guy is getting rid of his stuff, we have a handicap booth that is not,
All
it's on its last legs, and before November 11th, we have to release it. I will state on over, in that budget, it will go over essentially, the supervisor's budget will go over, is that they wouldn't, budget appropriately for every election.
Yep.
So that, we'll just hone in on that on this year's election, make sure it is budgeted for. So we will see an overage in that.
How much overage do you anticipate?
I'm not sure because I'm not sure the total cost of this election coming up.
Okay,
Two
we're not talking
7.
1,000, just relatively close to what we have.
Just when you don't budget, the right amount for each election, it can throw a wrench in things for sure.
Chief, how is it?
What's that?
How's it outside?
In room to the hospital.
That one, and then we got 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
Did you decide to make this one also this one with the,
Board.
grant?
Yep. Marshall. Are these dupes?
Yeah.
Is that the email
Mm-hmm.
in reference to the conference?
Mm-hmm.
I have one in my file, yeah.
Chief, good work on that.
Did you not have one?
No, I got one in my file, thank you.
So, what, you just need to go ahead to,
Just give him the go-ahead, you're in a budget freeze, and he wants to give you the approval, because that's what he normally does.
okay? I got no problem with that, $260
Plus 600, but
plus 600. Conference is 600, please forward to the board at a low price.
you typically budget for that?
I will state for other budgetary concerns, downstairs town clerk tax collector, she had already budgeted for it. It's already done in advance, she didn't sign up for it, it's gone through.
Okay.
You good with it?
I'm good with it.
Yeah. Go, baby, go. Okay, I make a motion to approve consent agenda.
I second that
All in
one.
favor?
Aye.
Yeah.
Good, Chief.
Mr. Fallon is here to speak about, Howard Road.
How do it go? Okay, sorry. Yep.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, and Heather. My name is Kevin Fadden, I represent Industrial Communications. And the reason I'm here this evening, Mr. Chairman, is for a Class 6 road, which is Howard Road, to extend Howard Road. Industrial Communications has been involved with the planning board and the town planner about a year ago. And at that time, we were working with the planner to amend the zoning bylaw and the zoning map to allow wireless communication facilities to be all throughout town as opposed to 5 These are the
Want
actual
to
plans
stand?
that we brought in.
Want to stand?
That's, I just have a few, I'll be quick, I recognize, I know there's other people here. The yellow is coverage, the white is no coverage. This is Route 140, this is 107, we're right here. Industrial determined that there would be a need for 2 towers in town. One here around, was Price Farm, which we're presently in front of the board, planning board with, and the other here was the end of Howard Road. And this yellow shows what it would cover. The Howard Road site is right here, and that would tie into the Cop Hill Tower. And then the Price Farm, which we were here a couple of weeks ago, that would cover all the ironworks in the lake, and that would tie into our tower over here in Alton. So with this, would cover the whole gap right through here. But, and that brings me back to the reason I'm here, Mr. Chairman, is that Howard Road is a Class 6 road, which is owned by the town, but we're asking permission.
Is it Class 6 from the whole way?
No, just where the pavement ends. This from 140 up here is a town road, then it's Class 6 from where the pavement ends, and it goes all the way through here by Paul and Marlene Osborne, who we're working with, out through. But this plan here, it's a little hard to see with the
Howard
coloring.
Road, is that across from Smith Meeting House?
Yes.
It is?
Yes.
So that goes down there a ways.
I'm sorry?
That goes down there a ways. Maybe it's the,
Well, it goes here to here, sir.
so where's Moon Pond? Right over here, right?
I'm not sure with
No,
this gentleman knows it.
Move on the other way. Howard Road's off of 140.
Oh, up the hill, up the snowmobile trail.
Yes,
Ah.
yes. This is the Osborne's home right here. Paul and
Okay.
Marlene Osborne. They come in, they're 53, I think I'm not sure how it's pronounced, Sable or Sable? Sable. That is the road here, but that's very tough. We couldn't get equipment up there or the tower. So this is a direct shot right through here. Now, it's
So it
paved here.
starts here.
Correct.
And then here,
And
from
it
here to
goes all
there
over.
is 6 all the way up.
Yes, sir. And what we're asking the town for is the permission to use this portion right here, and the proposed tower is right in this location. So the town owns the
How
road.
far is that?
900 feet, sir.
900
Right
feet.
here, yeah. It's very hard to see with the colors, but I think you can see 900 in there.
I mean, what do the other people think?
Well, wait, this is the first step right here. This has to go through the planning board.
Planning board.
Yes, sir. It has to go through
Yeah.
the planning board for a conditional use permit and for a site plan review, where we went to the planning board 2 weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago, for the Price Farm. And Saturday, we flew a balloon on the Price Farm location, and we're back in front of the planning board next Thursday evening. So it's a process.
Right.
The first step in the process is to see if the town will allow us to use that road. And what I have here is a draft.
Would you guys be maintaining that road?
Yeah, well, yes, we would, and that's the question, that's why I can just get this out of your way if you like.
I would, my thing would be the residents, the abutters.
Right.
That's who, you know.
And we have to
I'm
meet
not-
with them, that's correct.
That's who I would be concerned about.
Yes, yes, sir. This is if you look here under paragraph 2, this is just a draft that was used by the town of Stoddard a few years ago. And paragraph 2 says, by issuing the permit, the town neither assumes responsibility for maintenance, including snow plowing and liability or things like that, which is the question I think you're asking, in addition to the neighborhood impacts or how the residents feel. And that's something we have to meet with.
So you guys, I'm just getting clarification, would be plowing that road, access to and from, so town's not responsible going
That's
there?
correct. That is correct.
Just a fact, I just need to recognize the question I'm gonna ask. So essentially what he's asking for is a private road agreement. However, does the road in any way need to be built up?
Not really. It's in the use where we'd probably have it at about 12-foot gravel drive. So it's not a major improvements to be made.
But there are improvements to be made?
Well, there'll be improvements for utilities would be extended down to the site about 900 feet. Telephone lines and poles.
So 2 items. Planning board has to see private road agreements first. It goes through planning first, then comes to the agreement. Did you present that to planning board?
No, I haven't.
Not yet.
No.
So it's gonna go to planning. It will come back here and circle back and you'll have the final say. However, just make sure you discuss with them the road condition. We do private road agreements.
Good.
And we do have a standard sheet that basically says what your purpose of maintenance businesses versus the towns.
That's fine, that was just, I didn't know if the town had one, and that was one.
Right, no, and I would love to see it, and, I'm just, it's odd, because our private road agreements used to be done, by the board of selectmen first.
Okay.
But in actuality, it needs to go to the planning board first, it needs to be recognized by planning, and then once they're actually supposed to review the road,
Yes.
go out there,
We can vote the same.
make a recommendation to the selectmen, and then
That's fine.
No, pass over Heather.
No,
She
just
wants to look at it.
for the planning board recommendation, should I work through the town planner or the planning office to get on the agenda?
I will contact Reed, and
Okay.
it's fine, that's a
Great.
new concept.
Yeah, just
Prior
the
to-
town.
It was prior to our last town administrator leaving, that it had always gone through, board of selectmen for some reason.
Okay.
We're trying to get clarification for that, and it really actually needs to.
So the process is for, get on with the town, the planning board,
Yeah,
have them recommend their thoughts and opinions to the planning, to the board of selectmen.
right, and essentially they're gonna go review the road, see what
Good.
they feel it needs, discuss it with you, and then they'll bring the recommendation to.
Fantastic. So, we'll follow that advice and be back at a later date.
And we have a representative on the planning board, so he can bring us up to speed of,
Yes.
you know, my concern would be the way in the butters, and is that gonna affect them?
Understood.
But I think it's helpful in towers of, to
What is
have
the
everything.
coverage range of those?
About 2.5 miles, but it covers, this is
Yeah, I see
this
that.
particular one here is that range, the yellow is what it covers. And then Price Farm is, this one here, so they all link up together, so it'd be coverage all through 140.
How tall is it?
140 feet is 40. Well, thank you very much.
No,
Mr.
thank you.
Have a good night.
Have a good night. Thanks a lot, take care.
Okay. Move engine 2. He's gone again.
Again?
And Joe's gone.
Yeah. So this engine was recognized last year in budget season as not viable. We would like to move it to auction. Auction's taking place on October 20th.
That's his recommendation. I mean, did he try and sell it?
Yeah, he said he's had it on one of the emails.
Yeah, it was pretty explicit.
Yeah, he's had it on some truck page.
There's gonna be somebody who will buy it. Just to have a fire in it.
But these sell them at the auctions usually, they don't go for much.
Chris Ryber does.
I seen Ritchie Brothers, I seen them for like $500.
Hmm.
They don't put a lot of money.
No.
Which is surprising because they're.
I mean, yeah, we gotta wonder what it would get just in scrap. If you scrapped it out.
You can ask
There's
them.
a lot of iron on them things.
A lot of stainless steel too in those tanks. But that's a lot of money and time to rip it apart and scrap it out, so.
Ship it, ship it,
I'm with that, yeah.
ship it, Marshall. Ship the engine to auction.
Yeah,
Okay,
I think so.
general consensus is ship.
Did you also receive the email that I sent out in reference to Chief Curry's request?
Yes.
To the cruiser?
I would ship that too. That's my recommendation.
That wouldn't be any good for anybody else.
Demolition Derby.
I agree.
I know, they're thinking that the command vehicle that we got from the fire department ain't gonna make another year. I don't know if these guys at the town shed could use that ride. I mean, they did pretty good. They got 3 years out of it, 4 years
Can you bring Marshall up to speed? He did not see the email.
I didn't see the email.
on,
Chief Curry's request.
he wants to ship the Crown Vic to White's Farm, get rid of it. But I'm trying to think, can we utilize it? You know, can we, town shed guys?
How much maintenance have we put into that in the last couple of years?
I have to look.
Pretty heavy expense, hasn't it?
I mean, it's got what, 120,000 miles on it?
Do you know how much?
I don't know the total amount of what we put into that vehicle.
I don't think a lot.
I don't
It's
know
not-
if
it's not ringing a bell.
viable. Who's gonna use it? What's it gonna be used for?
Well, the command vehicle at the town shed, they don't think is gonna make it. I mean, they got 3 or 4 years out of it. That was great.
That's good.
Now ship it to the White.
Well, why don't we, flip them out? Send, that
Hang
one
on to the cruiser
And keep
say-
that.
and at the very least, if you send it to the town shed. If it's something that they wanna use, fine. If they don't, then I guess ship it. That sound good?
You have the current.
I would put a cap on.
I mean,
any
they,
repairs.
right,
If
but
hit $1,500,
but they
that's
were
it.
doing a lot
You know,
of it
something like
there.
that.
I mean, they
Well,
took the
that's-
command vehicle and put brakes on it and lines and stuff like that.
Well, you know,
It isn't
I'd
like
say
they're
the
shipping
best
it
thing
out,
to do
they're
is
doing it right
No,
there.
I agree with that, I'm saying, but I'd say if we see any major repairs for it, just
Yeah.
cut your losses and,
Yeah, look at it.
you know, put a cap on what they're gonna spend on it.
Did that email state how much in repairs?
I don't believe I saw anything to that effect.
We
No.
just did somebody.
Yeah, that was 1,800 on one of the SUVs.
Yeah, okay, one of the SUVs.
It was $1,800.
Yeah.
So the concern is moving, if you're moving this vehicle to a different department and putting more monies into it for that department, what is the purpose?
Yeah, because they're doing the work themselves. The guys at the township would just go buy parts and put it on it. That's what they did with the command vehicle. It's, the police department is sending it to a garage and need this and need that.
And is there a need for that vehicle to go down to that?
Yeah, because the command vehicle is the one that we gave them like 3 or 4 years ago from Joe, the chiefs. Yeah, that's gonna make it anymore, they
So
don't
they
think.
said they needed another vehicle, or was it just?
No, it was nice. I mean, if it was 4 years, that's great. We would've got, what, $500 for the thing, and those guys, you know, put, I think it was like a couple of $100 into it, and ran it for 4 years. Well, 3 or 4 years, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, that's why we gave them the Bobcat from the transfer station. Because they can use it down there rather than scrap it out and get nothing for it. We just,
I would, maybe we should see what the cruiser actually needs before we go giving someone else a bag of bolts and.
Again, first, and, see what the maintenance is.
well, I mean, if you wanted to just make the consensus is to give it to the highway department, and then if we don't, then we can ship it. But if we don't make it,
Well,
so
we
we
have to
give
have
it
it
to
in there
them
pretty
to
quick,
look
cause
at
that
it.
auction's coming up, what, next month, right?
20.
And they have to have it,
That's the car too.
everything.
It's the
Everything's
option.
in. So, let's have them to come and look at it. See what the.
See if they even
say,
want it.
what they say.
Highway department, well, they said, I mentioned it to them, and they showed interest.
Well, I don't want to see in a month or two, they say, oh, we're gonna have to spend this much money on it, because this is.
Yeah, that's
Well,
what
just-
I'm-
They took that command vehicle, Marshall, and
Yeah, I know
we
they
didn't
did a
we didn't
good
hear a
job
peep
on it,
out.
yeah,
We didn't
yeah,
hear a
yeah.
peep for 3 or 4 years, so.
Yeah, they did a good job on that one, so.
Maybe we can see if the police department can run it down, then they can take a look at it and see if it's even worth their time.
I think so.
Want me to do it?
Let's, okay.
The blue lights all the way.
What's the consensus?
Consensus, find out if town shed wants it. If not, then ship it. Good?
I'm okay with that.
Okay.
But I would say let's put a cap on the spend on that. That's what I'd like to see, you know, if it's gonna cost anything more than $1,500, that's the limit and it's gone.
No, that's a lot of money. I'd
That's what I'm
say,
saying.
yeah, 1,000. But you'd be
Well-
surprised what you can do for that kind of money if you're doing it yourself. And you get the discount at the,
You still got labor burden in that. I mean, you're still paying someone to do
Right.
the work, so.
just,
So,
that's something else I wanted to think about too.
are we saying there's a gap?
He says 1,500.
I would like to see some type of cap, whether it's 15 or whatever you guys think. That's what I would
Yeah,
like to see.
that's fine.
So if highway department wants it, and there's $1,500 worth of work or more.
Not to buy a town shed, highway. You said fire department.
And then
That's his new command vehicle. And then we're taking the new command vehicle and giving it to the town shed.
if it's over that amount, it doesn't matter whether they want it or not, it's going to.
Ship it.
Right, thank you.
Okay. Bridge Stage Road advertisement. They need our okay to start bidding out.
Yeah,
Our
we're
bridges.
done, so.
Yep, in the month of November.
Did you all read that extensive email?
Yeah,
Did you?
it was
get all the way
painstaking.
down it? Do you have questions on certain areas?
It was definitely,
It's a lot to it.
yes.
Yeah,
So the suggestion is,
I fell asleep twice reading it.
they need to go out to advertise for November for the bridges that are happening next year. And then the bid process will be, and they do the advertising, we don't do the advertising, I believe it's the charge that's built in.
Right.
With all the monies. And then in December, you'll go through bid openings. However, all those little pieces of the warrant article and how it's stated in that specific email, does need to be relooked at. And the semantics needs to be figured out between finance and DRA and what language is going to be appropriate for that warrant article. So what he stated in that warrant article for where the money is coming from and where the money is going, I'm not comfortable with it at this point. It doesn't mean it's inappropriate overall, it just needs to
Be refined.
It needs to be
Cleaned up a little.
Yeah,
So
shortened up a lot.
No, not short. don't want
Just
less
make it so
space.
people can understand
Public
it.
hearing
Right.
specific.
Yeah.
So, what I'm just looking for tonight is that you give them the okay to go advertise for November, the
Yep.
openings in December. But I would suggest that you invite them to your following meeting after this meeting, and that way they can go through.
And I mean, there should be another, like a public hearing on, yeah, I think, you know, for the two. Is
For
that,
state road,
yeah, for the two of them.
is there did they say a public hearing? I don't remember in that.
No, I don't know, but I'm thinking that would be cool to have a public hearing, you know, I mean, I'm sure they won't mind, they've been great. But if anybody has any final questions and,
Well, I definitely think you should do that after you receive the bids.
yeah, agreed, but that's what I'm saying, you know, like January, February, something, open something up to have a public,
Yeah.
because they, you know, when we sit there and talk to them, they tell us too much, and it's not like you can't get it out there, it's, you know, people can ask their own questions.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've held public hearings periodically. so
Right,
it's
we've already had 'em, I
a
know,
process,
you know.
so-
We've heard one more for a double bridge.
I will tell you that there was someone asking, when the schedule was gonna start on the state bridges, and I would have to.
It's fall,
Of 2019?
yes.
Okay, I didn't have a specific date for him, so I told him.
It was fall because it was the school and what else, there was,
Yeah,
there was something else in there that mandated, because we wanted to do it in the summer. We didn't wanna pour in the winter, you know, because of having to, you know, cover it all up and have concrete,
are we getting
vulnerable.
mixed up with Crystal Lake though? Cause the summer was a big portion for Crystal Lake Bridge.
It was.
No,
No.
so it was,
So I just have to look back in the folder and get some good information, there's a lot to that folder, so.
I'm pretty sure it was that, it was they wanted, we wanted summer. No, the DES had something to say about it, right? Didn't,
DES has said something.
yeah, I know they said a lot of it, yeah, I know, but, how they charged themselves. There was something that they were mandating that we couldn't do. You remember that? No?
I'll have to refer.
Yeah, we'll look into it. It was something with DES that said that you couldn't do it at that time. I don't know whether it was the lily pads or, it was something.
All I'm looking for
No,
is
it's not DES.
for you to approve
Yeah, approve, yeah, you need a motion or just, yeah, you good with them starting to, yeah, all
I
right.
do it.
And then would you like to invite Oil and Tanner to the next, board meeting?
Yes, we would.
How about the one after that? You know, give me a chance to read the rest of them.
So what you're gonna come into is, because this is more article information, I would like it sooner rather than later, so we can get the full aspect of what they're thinking versus what finance is thinking, and then go to DRA, because if you.
What, for the finance and, yeah, cause I know, we gotta come up with all
In that email, it says 81,000
Yeah.
to be put in the bridge fund.
of it, you know.
Well, I don't think that's possible. I don't think that monies that came from reimbursement, and initially from the road fund, I believe that's the money that we're talking about. I don't think it can technically go straight into the bridge fund. I think it needs to go into the general fund, and from there.
We'd have to
And I
move
believe that's what the area is.
So we have a warrant article on that?
We're gonna,
Yeah, your money portion isn't done
Yeah.
on this aspect. I'm just saying the wording that he's using and how he came up with the, what does it say, 485,000?
Yep.
It's just, that's great that that's the total number you gotta get to. However, is it appropriate to put the 281, is it?
yeah.
Yeah.
Into the bridge fund, that's all. I just have to figure out,
Oh, just go to general fund, we'd have to move it.
right. And it has to
Yeah, it's weird. Yeah, okay, thank you, here, and then, okay, then we just flop it back over.
It has to be appropriate.
Semantics.
That's all.
Yeah.
Okay.
Semantics at this point, but.
But yeah, all right, next meeting, after we do that.
Yeah. So the following meeting.
Yeah,
And so we're just bringing them in for clarification on
clarification on the
the
monies.
verbiage.
Right, and by
Monies and
then,
verbiage and everything.
by then, hopefully Brenda will have heard and solidified her thoughts
Okay.
through DRA, and would you like her to be here as well?
Sure.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Well, that way we'll know exactly, you know,
Well,
because I know we're waiting on the 80, you know, I mean,
so waiting on the,
well, with the 80%, we're gonna have to come up with a lot of money here.
Chair,
He's got a bond out.
Are you guys here for, you know, the, Parks and Recreation? No? Okay. Okay.
But okay, next meeting. Hey, Gene's land auction, you guys got that memo, right?
So
The
I know
memo on the
that
auctions?
each-
They just,
St. Jude's auction every year usually happens around this time. However, we don't have enough properties to make it worth their while.
right,
Usually it has to be over $125,000 worth of value. They don't have it. We came and had a meeting. They usually don't turn away business, but they would just like to hold off the land that we have to auction this year and add it to next
it
year.
was minimal.
Hopefully build
It's like
it
was it 3 pieces? Is that what
I
it
think
was?
it's 4, but it doesn't.
But they
reach
were
their minimum.
1,000 up 500, you know.
Yeah.
That, you know, bag it and then add that to next year's.
I think that's a good idea.
I do too.
Yep.
Bag it until next year. Parks and Rec. Yeah, that was,
Did you all get that information?
did.
I did.
In your packet?
Yeah, pretty good.
So there has been conversation at the meetings, about what to do with Parks and Rec and where it sits. What the problem is from the office side of it is we don't have minutes. Their meetings are not recorded. I've never seen a posting through this office. It doesn't happen. Historically, for every other meeting and committee, it comes through the selectman's office. The fact that we're not seeing it is indicative to it's not happening in my book. So I was just curious as to where the committee was formed, how it was formed, when it was formed. Diane was able to do some intensive research through the town reports to see when it was formulated. It actually is a commission, which is quite different than a committee. And this one is set up very specifically. I believe it was done in 69 or 66. Does it say?
82, we talked about 5 members and 1 selectman.
Well, that was the rearrangement of it, but initially.
72 was,
Okay.
it's on the top.
So essentially, there still has to be 1 selectman as an ex officio to it. We don't currently have that. It also requires that a fire department personnel is a part of it, which we currently do not have. And then 2 additional members. Now, it doesn't say anything about alternates, so we currently don't have any of this. And that's a problem, given the fact that this was voted on, this was made at one point, and we're not really following it. So it does need to be rectified. We're trying to get a hold of all these little bits and pieces that are kind of oddities in our town that we haven't had a ton of control over, that we really need to kind of bring back to the table and say, okay, this is the way it should be done.
Reel it in.
So that we're meeting standard.
Yeah. I'm gonna read that whole thing.
Yeah, definitely, you don't have to make a decision.
Not gonna, right?
It just is interesting, for sure.
It is.
And it would be nice, you know, I know they struggle for involvement. I struggle to get solid communication about what they actually need versus what they got going on, because again, I don't say anything, it's not communicated in any other way to us except a volunteer coming in, periodically and saying maybe this and maybe that, and it's about the communication we get. So it does need to be rectified, though, since they are a commission, it needs to meet RSA standards
Yeah.
as far as, minutes.
All right.
Bishop Town advertisements.
So official town advertisements, we can, on election day, we had several people come down to the office and ask why a specific ad was placed in the Honolulu Sun. And they mentioned that it had a board of selectmen position in it. I said, I did not know about an ad. They said it was an ad, and you posted it. So I said, can you give me the date of the newspaper? And I'll look into it. not to necessarily pull anybody out on the carpet or anything like that. I want to keep the integrity of the office downstairs. An official ad would be put out through my office in certain parameters, and it's going to be through the classified sections. We've also had a lot of, I would say, frustration as staff downstairs tries to communicate with the residents about good information going out. And what we currently have is a lot of bad information, speculation, and rhetoric going out through Facebook. And I know we talk about it a lot. I don't know why we talk about it a lot. It shouldn't be coming here whatsoever. But that's where the misinformation is happening. And we are going to put up something on the website that basically states that the town of Gilmanton does not approve or sanction anything on Facebook. We only give out information through our website, and currently our website is what we have to work with. I can't wait for a new one, but I really want the residents to understand that any information going out on Facebook isn't coming through official business. And it's really disconcerting because people don't even want to hear the good information. They want to deal with the drama. They want to deal with the misinformation. And the questions that we get, we're constantly bombarded with bad information, and you have to get up over that hill of bad information and actually get to the good information. And unfortunately, there are residents that just don't want to hear it. But the fact of the matter is, official business is on the town website or coming through the offices and actual staff and employees, and not residents of this town. And it's really providing a disservice to the town when we have people go on and on with bad information, because I'm just shocked at what kind of information is out there. We had a major concern about another piece of information going out from Facebook that included our police department and more lack of staff coming in the coming weeks. I had another member of town reach out to me and state that this rhetoric was going on in the town, and therefore had to reach out to the chief, and he had no idea about it. It's unfortunate that this is what we're combating, and not the good information that should be solely coming from this office. It's one thing if people want to state on Facebook that it's their opinion, but this large amount of bad information going out is
Hopefully we get the new TA and he can do his monthly newsletter.
Yeah, but it's still not gonna stop though.
You know, might help.
You know, I mean, they were going on there, they were saying, you know, that, we're down to 3 officers and we're gonna be down to 2 in 2 weeks.
And that's the problem, too close. I'll tell you why. If it was true, which I got no confirmation of that whatsoever, Chief had no idea about it, but the issue is, in the litigation process, this board and a previous board has asked for certain items to be shown to the board so that we are confident and we know how to proceed with this department. Like Chairman McNamee said, we're not telling the police department what to do. We're asking to tell us what they are doing. It's just communication, plain and simple. Now, if part of that rhetoric is the schedules, and we have no idea in the office about what the schedules are, you have no idea what the schedules are, and yet a member of our town who is a resident, who ultimately is not connected with the police department whatsoever, feels very confident in the fact that they're going to be down another police officer and she knows the schedule. That's concerning.
I mean, yeah, I'm also seeing that we didn't hire the police officer because of, you know, no backgrounds in polygraphs. I'm trying to figure out how that's even possible.
Well, the whole point, and that is, not that we want to see what has happened or what he did, but we need to put the pieces together. There is a lot of times that people do things that they shouldn't do. And you can look at and see if there's a pattern, you know, and there's things that, well, you know what, he was wrong, but he's done good. You know, he's done this, he's done that, and that. And that's all that I want to say. I don't to see. It's just not like, because when I was in the Corps, I would have to look at everyone, you know, and look at their record books and everything, and we see everything, because when we're gonna get this guy from corporal to, you know, to sergeant, he's up for promotion, we wanna see everything. We wanna see what he made, what he, you know, did, and stuff like that. It's not gonna go any further than here. It should not go any further, you know, than here. But it's just the way it is. He said no.
So, before we go into it any further, because it is a part of litigation, and you just want to be aware
Okay.
of those certain topics. The whole point of the scheduling issue that I brought up was not the fact that the board doesn't know the schedule versus PD knowing the schedule. It's that a resident felt confident enough to state scheduling issues on Facebook, and we were not aware, the department head was not aware. If that is truly what's happening, that should be a larger concern.
It is a lot.
Because then confidentiality isn't being had. And that does put your PD in jeopardy. That also puts the integrity of this office and this board at minimizing it where it should be, because I know you all take it seriously, confidentiality. I know that's how we proceed every day. I know that the public does not recognize the efforts of this board or past board. This is also a concern in reference to administration. Those directives didn't blindly come out of the board stating these are the concerns. Administration also had concerns of an employee and the overall picture. This is what we're not getting. That's where all of this came from. So the rhetoric that's going on in this public forum, stating that it's one chairman's fault, that it's his fault, and yet they bring up wildly that not one person can do that. You're absolutely correct. This was a concern of an entire board. This continues to be a concern of the board member, and it's a concern of administration. There are some issues that need to be handled, and unfortunately we're in this odd spot where we have an employee situation, we have a department that are all employees of this town, all of them. Every single one of those police officers are an employee of this town. They answer to the department head, which is the chief of police. They answer then to the town administrator, and then they also answer to the board. And it is a hierarchy that has to be recognized, and those concerns came out of administration and the board jointly, not just the board.
I'd like to say one thing. Most of those, or a good portion of those rapids are also part of the personnel policy that we have.
You're right.
So they kind of twine.
There's one in there, Marshall, I forget what number 12 or something,
Yeah.
where we're asking them to be here for when the ladies come out of the office at night. They come out 9:30 or whatever, and well, the problem is that, the two officers that left, Officer Childs and Officer Gustafson, they'd be out there. They'd sit there and wait, and then they'd all wave when everybody left at 9:30, sometimes 10 o'clock. And we tried that route, and no, that needs to be a detail. And it's like,
We can't pay detail rate.
no,
All the time. You just can't do it. So,
you shouldn't have to.
no.
The other two officers got it. They understood. It was a small town. I mean, you didn't make sure people are in their vehicles.
I will say what Franklin does for their voting is just a part of their budget. They don't special detail it, their officer comes, pays for it. That's the real issue when you break it all down to the coverage and the questions that we received here tonight. It's just basic understanding of what has been covered in the past, what is actually being covered now, and then essentially what should be special detail, what should be detail rate, and what should just be town purview based on that it's your job and you work for the town. It really is easily broken down if people cared to hear about it and ask simple
how big of a town Franklin is off the top of your head?
It's a small city, I don't know the population, but
You
they're
know
a
what I mean?
small
Like
city.
10, 12,000 or something like
Do you know
that.
how many offices they have?
I don't know.
Bigger than what we are.
You got Belmont, they got 15, I think.
Yeah, but they're,
No, you know,
Just
I
a big
think,
area.
yes, I like the idea that the officer can get some extra money, you know, and go out there and work the details. What I do not get is, why are we paying detail rate for them to work in the town? I don't get that, I just don't understand it. I don't, the overtime pay, you know, because they should get that. But if they're working for a town and they're putting in for, detail pay, the taxpayer is paying for all of that.
Right.
Every cent of
And
it, there is no money
you
coming back to us.
just did the 4th of July, and then we got a minimum charge.
Yeah, so,
of
so,
4 hours,
these are the
minimum
points.
detail on all of them. How long was the parade?
I don't know, and see, that's the question. It's the chief's purview, about charging, right? guys accept the
Yeah, I
charge?
would say, yeah, I mean, but you would think that there would be some,
So,
I mean, there was arrangements made with the school.
in an outside detail, the 4-hour minimum, I believe is standard.
That's fine,
But when you're working in town, that's the board's real
right?
question. As what is okay for an outside detail and where you're charging a separate entity that doesn't pay taxes here, this rate, that's fine. But when you're in town, you're already
That's
charging the
taxpayers'
taxpayer for
money.
your services, and then on top of it, you're charging an extra, detail.
yeah, but you still need an officer to be a patrol, right? So you would have to have a second officer, that would be overtime.
So, well, that's the question. The board has not been given a schedule, so they don't know.
We don't know.
And the
Well,
discussion
if you only
is
have 3
now.
officers, 120 hours, each one's 40 hours, then yes, anything right now, with 3 officers would be
Right.
overtime.
But there shouldn't be, unless they get called out. But right now,
I think you still need one on patrol, if you have something going on here, we need one
we
here.
don't have
we
any
need second.
details. Well, they're still managing to work them out. I mean, they did 26 hours of detail last week.
Yeah, it was overtime.
No,
No.
detail. With their grants and New Hampshire Electric Co-op, 9.5 out of them. And
I think, the biggest thing is, we just wanted the chief to sit down and talk to us about all this stuff.
And he won't.
He just won't do it. So it's not his way or the highway, he's spending the taxpayers' money. But that's all, because I don't want to be micromanager. It's his department, he needs to run that department. And I don't have any heart to that at all.
We sit down with them, talk with them.
Well, so there's.
But now the litigation, now what? But we'll sit down with them with the mediation, yes.
Well, the current situation with our staffing, if you care to sit down with the chief at all, but the nature of the litigation is the fact that part of hiring would be background checks and playgrounds. Fine, if we want to wait to mediation, that's fine too. I will say, if that,
Is that for all officers, full and part-time, or is it just for full-time?
Just any of them,
For any-
any of them.
that's across the board. The town requires a background check and polygraph per policy. And the board in the past, and this too, the majority, I don't know where you stand on it, they basically require it for the hiring process. It is a part of policy, so,
It's policy.
and that's the question, whether or not you want to let a department head vet and essentially recommend a hire based on only him knowing the information, or does the board feel confident enough to sign for an employee that they don't know 100% who they're getting? That is your question.
And I don't feel comfortable with it without me seeing the stuff.
Well,
And policy mandates it anyways.
well, see, it could
We're getting
actually
off
help the
You
officers.
think you got no point of order?
Point of order.
Yeah, move on. That horse is dead. Okay. Old business at 7:15. Oh no. It's
8 for.
Yeah.
Close.
All right, letters of interest.
So your letters of interest that you received several meetings ago were for Larry Driscoll, Henry Vision, and Amy Brown for conservation. She did ask to be put on library trustees, but the positions weren't updated on the website. There is no library trustee, and there's a discussion going on downstairs. I don't believe there actually should be an alternate for library either, given what I read in the RSA. Currently, we have an alternate, which that's not how library trustees work. Who you have on the board is who you have on the board, and I'm not sure where we got an extra alternate in that board, so I have to review that some more. And then, so I believe she wanted to do conservation, and Larry Driscoll's alternate in planning, and so is Henry Vision.
I'm not cool with it.
All of them?
Yeah. I just don't, I don't think they were a good fit.
How's that?
Well, the biggest thing.
The interactions with the people in the office to begin with. I don't think that, well, you know, and it's not just me, it's the interactions that they've had with the people in the office now. I just don't think they were a good fit. Anything else on them?
Well, I think some of them, well, you know, you have to be able to, what's the word? Take a butt whipping and keep on smiling and not get upset, you know, and that's the biggest thing. A lot of times it's hard. Some of the people on that list, no, I wouldn't do, I wouldn't be, because it takes a level head, you know, to do stuff like this, and I'd have to look at the list again.
I just think the interaction is
Yeah. We
not
want what
a
is
bit,
best.
not a bit,
We want what is best for the town.
right?
And not that they're not best for, you know, for the town, but you have to look at everything. So, yeah, I like to look at the list again.
Okay, so I'm gonna just throw my 2 cents out there for y'all, because I come from a unique perspective of an employee and what we have to deal with in reference to boards and committees. I'm not a judge of a person, of who comes before the board and requesting to be an interested party and getting involved in the community. I think that's fantastic. However, my concern is, at least on 2 of them, the interactions have been less than stellar with the staff in the office. I do not want my staff thinking they have to come to a meeting and have an issue with an appointed official. That's a problem. It makes their life harder time and time again because of the interactions of that particular individual, whether they are, you know, known as an angry individual, and then they have presented themselves like that in a public forum, then they have presented themselves like that in a personal forum, and then of course they go on and on about the way on Facebook. I don't agree with any of it. Anybody running their mouth on Facebook, I have a problem with, in reference to, if you're gonna represent the town, it's a problem. I don't agree with it. That's my personal 2 cents. But when you have known people that have had issues here in the town building, I would ask you to really consider what your staff has to work with and the battles that we have to fight every day in reference to who comes in the office and how they conduct themselves in the business and how they represent the town.
And then we're applying for conservation.
Conservation.
Library's filled, you said, right?
Yep.
Say again?
Library's filled, you said, right?
Yeah, I have to look into that some more, and there's no full position open, and I believe her concern initially was, she just wanted to be a part of an alternate, but there actually aren't alternates allowed for RSA, so I gotta figure out how that one.
Okay. And the other one was just for the planning board.
I think they were both planning
Alternates, I think,
board. Yeah.
Do we still have vacancies there?
Yes, because I believe land use boards can have up to 5 alternates, and I think there's only 2 right
him out of it, and now one of the guys had a problem, and he's gonna be back into the swing of things next round.
Alternates are viable and very important uses for boards, especially for,
How much more interaction would they have with the town office if they were on the planning board?
so
Well, you're in there.
what you have is a staff member that has to go to those meetings monthly, and then you call in to have any conversation or any preparatory work for their meeting. There is staff involvement. My concern, I just love coming here with all of you on Monday nights, and it's great. I love the interaction with
You are welcome.
the people. It is amazing. Not everybody likes that interaction. Not everybody adores having angry members of the public question them. Not everybody adores having members of their own board question them in an angry manner. And I think that's the concern that you have to be very careful with. Given staff retention, we do currently have a new member of our planning staff. And I would just really ask the board to be conscious of that.
I think the biggest thing on the planning board is you can't bring personal to the board. You have a guy out and everything, and they need to go by that, you know, and see what is best for the town. I especially respect Elizabeth Hackett of the ZPA, because she looks at everything. She looks at what's good for the town, what's good for the taxpayer, how is it going to, you know, affect the town, you know, and everything else. And she looks at that. Yeah. So I think they need to be able to put their personal life behind them and look at what the town has to have and what it can offer them. So.
Don't we have rules for these boards?
So that's the other perspective. In past boards, there are set rules and regulations that board has to follow specific to planning.
You talk about conduct rules. Yeah, no.
So there are no conduct rules. You would hope that people would understand while they're present at a board meeting, there's a certain behavior that's acceptable and not acceptable. I have not seen that in the past. And it was directly related to an employee. And that was a concern. No employee should have to come here for work and be regular goals by a board she doesn't even know about. It's a concern. This is, what comes here, agenda-based, all right, fine. When you represent a board, it should not be agenda-based. It should be factual, based on the information that you're receiving. And that's how you need to make your decisions. And if they can do that, that's great. But as soon as you throw staff in the mix and you start berating a member of our staff, it's fine. And because you appoint, for now, the planning board.
How does that work? I know it's gonna be replaced too every single year, the vote. Same thing with the alternates.
So
No, the thing about that is they are not, until they've rotated and had all 7 are elected officials, that's when it becomes an elected board.
I get that, but are we electing alternates at the first year?
No, so
No.
we don't elect alternates.
Okay.
That elected board, when they're an official board, I believe that what happens is they appoint their own. So as soon as they're 100% elected, that's when they start appointing their own. Yeah, it's a different weed out process for sure, the elected versus the appointed that we're going through right now. It's different.
And so the selectmen's board would still have the purview of appointing alternates until it's an elected board. Okay.
Okay? And finally, and up 8:05, I gotta swing by there, I'll drive by there tonight, and they would have started that today. They had a personal issue, and it's squared away now, and he told me that it would be the first of the week. He's gonna get in there and start cleaning up that front? You been getting any more calls? 805?
Have you gotten calls on what I said?
Anyone lately, or?
Yes.
Oh, good. All right.
So, at the beginning of next week, you said?
No, it's this week.
This week.
No. That's why I want to drive by there to see if they went there today. Okay, select board items.
I got a couple.
Okay, what do you got, Mike?
You got something?
Yeah, so I went down a couple weeks ago, headed to the old town hall, and there's some stuff that needs to be done down there in order to bring up to Cody with the building inspector. I think we really need to sit down and look at what we wanna do with that town hall.
Pretty sad, isn't it?
It is.
It's been neglected for a really long time.
So we need to figure out if the Historic Society wants to maybe take it over. I'm just
I
talking out
don't
loud.
think they do. I mean, but they're historical, they're the ones that can get the grants, man. They're the ones that, I mean, they can get way more grants than we can get.
Right now, I think Everett said needed emergency lighting outside, emergency exit lighting on the inside, panic bar hardware on the doors, going out of the main room out. I think what else was there?
There was a list of like 10.
Yeah.
So what is he, I mean, should we not be renting this thing out?
Well, that's what I'm kinda getting at. I mean, the emergency exits and panic doors would be the big ones. You know, if you had a fire in there, people can't get their way out. Now you have a huge liability to the town.
Well, I like to go over there this week. I really would. Because he's
You can take the keys and go right over anytime you want.
I'm gonna go there, but I
Don't
want,
jump on the floors.
I want the historical guy to go with me, though. You know, it's all you know, little things, but you know what? This weekend, all the taxpayers had stopped me and asked me, well, why can't we use that old town hall for lots of things? I said, well, you're the public, you're the taxpayer, get a committee, you know, to get together and let's put together something, because it, back in my day, history time, we used to have dances at, you know, the whole thing, for the kids and everything.
You should go look at it before you just keep
Yeah, I know, it still needs work though. But
No,
there's,
it's beyond work. It needed a lot of work.
Yeah, there's some serious repairs needed there, and it's gonna continue going.
I mean, I've heard people yapping out $1 million.
Well,
I don't know what the number be. It definitely needs some,
Love.
yeah.
well, it needs to be put to the
Hey, there's
taxpayer.
generators down the basement you could have used. We found it down there.
Was the pad big enough out here?
Yes.
I'd like to have the joint loss management committee met on Tuesday.
What is that?
So joint loss management committee is basically the department heads in town that go around assessing safety concerns in town property.
Okay.
So not all town property, we don't actually go to town-owned property necessarily, but public safety building, fire department, and fire department transfer station is a big topic of many joint loss meetings for a long time. And what came out of that meeting today was on Tuesday, was significant improvement at the transfer station, very impressive. Full movement on last year, which is great news. However,
Yeah, I mean, you just look at it and you know, I mean, those guys are doing amazing.
yeah, the cleanup has been faster.
Do you remember it before?
So essentially what came out of that meeting was Old Town Hall is going to be looked at the next meeting, which is in December. Also, Chief Hempel did mention concerns because I brought up the paving on this academy building as well. It hasn't been done in a long time. We have some serious concerns in reference to unevenness in pavement, the safety that provides our residents coming in to do business at the town. And then, of course, the front parking. We have a very odd situation with parking up front. It has been a concern of the town halls that it's not compliant, and we can go around and say we're not under these compliance regulations based on the fact that we're a municipality, but some things are just good to have in place as far as safety goes. The parking out front has always been a concern if it's big enough for parking and an emergency crews to get by if there was an event here. Chief Hempel also has those concerns. He did state those at the meeting, and then of course Old Town Hall is going to be there next.
I know it's not ADA compliant either, as far as the ramps for some, that was another big one. That would be pretty costly to bring that ramps up to par.
It's just, everywhere you look, there's something that needs to be done.
There's a lot of work that needs to be
Yeah, you just
done.
look at the foundation, the water, the start, you end up like doing the
I
same
think
thing
we
we
need
did
to
out
do
here.
have a town meeting and public input on it and see what they would like to me.
Put it out to bid, put it out to the town, let them vote. Let them vote about, you wanna dump a bunch of dough, or you wanna
I like
run
to
the
see
ball?
What I will state with that building is, and I've stated it here, so we're gonna have a space needs issue, we do have a space needs issue. Hopefully, some of our space needs issues will be rectified by what we're gonna present at budget committee, which is scanning documents, and hopefully we can get rid of some filing cabinets, and that will free up some space. That's the intention, and the help we're going to is actually getting documents online, so that the request and the public documentation can just be all scanned, and it's perfect timing, because then you can bookend it with a new website, and then do the scanning at the same time, which would be amazing.
But for all extensive purposes, I don't see, down the road, why they can't just add on to the selectman's office right over the vault.
So these are all of our concerns.
And that's leaking.
And where we're going,
That deck out there is leaking down into the vault.
is that where that water's
That's where that water's coming
Is it a
from.
concrete deck?
No,
gravel on top?
and it's a rubber roof, but it's like getting in between, because that's where the water came from. We brought the tickets down
Yeah,
there.
but the voting booth down, there's water inside there.
Yep, that's where it's coming from, in between the building and the vault.
And like I said, I don't know what the town wants to do with the old town hall, but it is definitely.
They need to know what they're up against before they, put it out,
Well, let me ask this, with all the contractors in town that here, and the people who do work on their own property, it's a shame that we couldn't get volunteers, as long as it's inspected, to give a certain amount of time, to it and stuff like that, because it's gonna take a lot of work, but once we get it up to speed, and we start using it for other things, and doing stuff like that, I think it'd be great, because I would hate to lose that building.
lose it.
It's either
Then a
pays
bulldozer,
for it
right?
itself, or else it has to go.
But yeah, we need to, we have a meeting next week, right?
You have not told me that.
We should have one next week, and I think we need to take this little bit of time and think about that, because are we endangering people by renting that thing out?
Well, at bare minimum, I think you need to have the emergency exit signs, emergency exit lighting outside, and the panic bars. I think that was like the,
As long as
It
it's
still costs
inspected.
money.
Yeah, as long as it's inspected though, and I don't mind,
you get battery operated LED, emergency lighting now, relatively, let's see.
And you want the outside lighting?
I asked him, did they have solar powered ones? You can get like $20-30 off of Amazon. He said that you could probably get something like that and be sufficient for what we're doing, because it's not being used all the time. You gotta have some type of lighting out there.
Do we have anybody in the next week renting that?
I can look, I know the contractors is already set up for their schedule.
The panic hardware, I think, is probably the biggest one.
Expensive,
Yeah.
probably thousands.
I don't think it's quite that much. but-
Probably $1,000 a door.
No, it's only one door we need it on.
That's it? Just that front one?
Or,
Nothing on back?
no, it's the one going into the grand room of the stages.
Yeah.
You can almost take the doors off and eliminate it then. That might be
So
an
the
easy
doors are
fix.
in place now just because of the heat issue that we have. And that's another thing that town halls.
I mean, we
I
pay
guess-
like, I think 14 grand a year, 14 grand, 13
To heat
grand
that?
budget.
To heat it? Are you talking
And
14?
they maintain it,
Yeah.
electricity, phone, everything. But is it 11 grand, 12 grand? I forget.
We just need to figure out what the taxpayers wanna do with it. If no one's using it in town and we're not getting any use out of it, it might be,
Well, we got the contra dances.
Which one's it?
And there are, I have to double check to see if there's historical events that are already scheduled, and then we haven't scheduled, so,
and the Historic Society, you said, doesn't want the building, huh?
I have not talked to them.
All right.
Is that something we could approach them and find out, maybe shoot them an email and ask them? What do we do that?
Sell it to them for $1, and I'll pay the $1. Yeah, 'cause I got that kind of money.
I'll give you 50 cents, how's that?
Nice.
Is the board consensus that you want me to reach out to historical?
Yes, please.
I mean, I like to see the building go back to its grandeur, you know, and see people use it, but the way it is now, it needs some work.
It's a mess.
Well, it has possibilities, it does have possibilities, I like that. I like to see the taxpayer, get some use out of it.
Well, there is use, it's not like no one's using it, however, the concern is safety versus,
Yeah.
liability, it doesn't know how much money they put into it.
It's under government buildings.
Yeah, I looked at it, it's not under here, what's the number?
I'm looking for it. I think it is in.
It isn't in government.
I think it's.
Old Town Hall, electricity, 800,
What
E,
page is that?
yeah, 5. You got 24, 94, yeah, 13 grand or so.
What's the number?
Page
Government
5.
buildings. It's under OTH, Old Town Hall.
Oh, okay, I looked at it, I didn't see it.
It's 800.
I don't know if it's much like the roof here, CIP
Oh, I see.
built this roof to be repaired, this year, based on, I'm sure, the materials they got, and just the timelines, and we don't have enough roofs for both.
I'd be
We don't
interested,
need- Say that.
I said I'd be interested to see what the roofer that came out here and looked at this roof says about that one, because he was a pretty,
He looked at that one, he flew by it.
And I'll have to look for CIG to see when they started putting those numbers on, because at Red Ross, Arlen was at that meeting. She said when the police department was there, they did replace the roof, and, 2008 would have been the time frame they replaced the septic. So I don't have any specific documentation when it was replaced here, like paperwork in our files. But she did state they replaced it when they were down there, so I assume that was in the same time frame. Yeah, just depending on what product we get, it could be a 20 year product, great, but I just don't know where CIP got the number that next year times up on the roof down there.
It's 13.4. What we were 13.4, what it cost to maintain the Old Town Hall a year.
What does that include?
electric, home heating, or heating and oil,
Maintenance,
custodial, telephone, groundskeeping.
there you go. You know, okay. Select board has set a meeting up, date, time for interviews.
Oh, so yeah, that's just essentially to.
Is there an ad out?
There is an ad out.
Good.
Road agent asked me to put the ad out. I let it run for 2 weeks. It ends October 5th.
Response so far?
We have had, only 4 applicants so far. I did reach out because I couldn't remember the process in which we hired for that department. He does like to be involved. He also has requested that the foreman be involved this time. What we do is after all the applicants come in after the 5th timeframe, we give him copies of all the applicants. He goes through, he wants to hear from everybody, so we set up an interview time with every single applicant, and then we will be present, and the foreman
Fine.
and the road agent will be present.
I'm cool with that. Okay. All right, we're gonna go into non-public. Oh, you got more, sorry.
We brought it up a couple times, I think we need to look at maybe trying to get a recorder to put these meetings up on, YouTube page, or try to get some of the other boards, maybe planning and budget, you know.
Well, that, we need to get the records retention committee going. And I've actually been talking about that.
I know we talked back about getting a security cameras in here, and that hasn't
Right.
happened, so I think we
Right.
gotta look at doing something that way people who can't.
Well,
make
you
it-
can't, apparently make boards, the selectmen can't make boards, tape their meetings and save them.
Okay.
Yeah, well, you need, we already have it in place, it's called a records retention, is that what it is, records retention committee?
You
And-
can, I believe you can state that you want all the meetings recorded
already did, and saved
It's not-
indefinite.
Yeah, that's the problem, saved indefinitely. It's potentially
Can do that, they have the autonomy to say.
Well, couldn't we mount the camera in there if they're all having their meetings in here? The camera comes on at 7 o'clock when the meeting starts, and
I will tell you that there are a lot of boards opposed to the video.
but there's no stopping from the public from coming in and doing it, right?
No, not stopping them at all. You know, it's gonna happen, I mean, once we get going, we still got, you know, the cameras, they gave us a price, it was like half the money, I think, from the last one, that they cut the cameras down, but I was adamant about having them here, you know, with good audio.
I will tell you, so the oddity in all our little groups and all our little committees and what we can do versus, and making it across the board and trying to get a better standard of process going, I should say. The joint loss committee, I had never been to one, the only other one I had been to, was, I was working in the office they were having the meeting at, I didn't really know what it was about, I didn't pay attention, it was in my bag, I didn't need to. When I went to the meeting, because it was my first meeting, and I assumed I was taking the minutes because Heidi's no longer here, and neither was Amy, and those were the only two taking the minutes. I said, all right, do you take minutes? Yes. And I said, yes. And I said, great. Do you record the meetings? Absolutely not. I said, so there's no recording of, just voice recording? No. I said, all right, well, that's interesting. I'll have to look into that. If this isn't, and then I did some more asking, if this is an actual committee, we have to have minutes, or say standards. That's the problem, whether, what we can get across the board. Right now, Board of Selectmen is the only one that goes up on SoundCloud. Unfortunately, we don't have a great process in reference to being able to have video on the website, being able to have, voice recording, just right on the website. We've done the best we can with what we have, but it's getting all these boards to do what we want the organization to do.
Records retention committee can make it.
I still think we should invest in a camera for the meetings and try to upload them to a YouTube channel that way.
Missing that, but, you know, get
Set
it
the
all
precedent.
worked out, and then first of the year,
Put it in the budget.
yep, and then put it right in the budget and do it right. Have it mounted,
I'm fine with that.
mic coming out of the ceiling, and, you know, get by the next, like, 2 or 3 months or whatever it is, and then we'll budget for it.
And are you only suggesting this board or everybody?
Well, if we're the only one that we can say yay and nay to, then yes, obviously this one, but we should make a strong recommendation that other boards follow and, you know.
I know I did that, and I said to save them indefinite, and, you know, some of the boards past were under the impression that the audios didn't mean anything once the.
To me, I mean, they serve the people.
They don't, but they recollect,
Your minutes are what is actual.
I agree, but you don't negate what got said.
My whole thing is if we serve the people should have access to watch and see what's going on in the town.
Agreed.
And I will tell you that people do have access. They can come to any of the meetings.
I totally get that.
So my issue with joint loss was, if it's an actual meeting, it should be posted. I don't know that it wasn't posted. I'm just saying I didn't post it. And it's public available. Right now, it's being treated as a department head meeting, essentially. You have departments that go in, there's no public present, there's no recording. We do put the minutes. Apparently, I just don't know where they put them. I have to find them. But again, that wasn't my structure, so I didn't pay attention to it.
Okay.
So.
Else?
That's it for me.
Okay. And, thanks for coming. We're gonna go into non-public, and we won't have any more business after we come out of non-public.
I'm gonna
Thank
take a
you.
break 'cause I gotta pee.
Yep, I'll take a 10-minute break right now. Awesome.